Good Hashanah Tova. There are going to be a number of different things that happen here on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and one is the melody, or the davening ability, or nusach of all the different prayers. They're completely special, completely different for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. One thing that we have to understand is we're a team. We need your participation. So I know. So we have songs that we're going to be singing. I'm going to give you an example of some of these songs. Even though it's Shabbat, we'll be singing Avinu Malkeinu. How many know that? Give me one verse. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Banenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Banenu, Kien Banu Masim. One that's not known very much that we do in Yom Kippur is Ve'al Kulam Elai Selichot. Another one that we'll be singing is Sefer Chaim Beracha V'Shalom U'Parnasa Tova. Does anybody not know any of these melodies? Good! Then I can rely on you, and I can have you. We are here tonight to usher in on something special. There's a lot going on. You just watch the news, see everything that's happening, and how do we fit in? How do we make this a very personal experience for us? Well, that's what we're going to find out. We're going to find this out in the next 2 weeks. We have 10 days of repentance between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And these 10 days are very, very important because we're getting more open. It takes time for us to drop our shields, for us to drop everything of who we are, and to be able to be the best that we can be. Because living in this world is tough, and we all know that. But living with each other in the synagogue is easy, harmonious, and loving. We'd like to start off with our service on page 2. If you could turn in your Machzor, page 2. We have a responsive reading, and I shall begin on page 2. As we begin our Rosh Hashanah prayers, we remind ourselves of the different ways that Rosh Hashanah has been understood and observed through the centuries. And we express the hope that our observance of Rosh Hashanah today will draw on and will be strengthened by all of our people's traditions for this day. Continue, please.
May we respect the anniversary of creation, using this day as an opportunity to remind ourselves how wondrous the world is and how amazing its design. As we sing happy birthday to the world, may we acknowledge our responsibility to nurture this birthday child so that it can have a long and happy life.
As we celebrate the start of a new year, may we also celebrate the year that has passed. And may we acknowledge and express our gratitude for the gift of life that we have received and enjoyed since last Rosh Hashanah. We thank you for keeping us alive and sustaining us throughout the past year. Continue.
May we experience today the joyous celebration that our people felt in ancient times, when Rosh Hashanah was simply Yom Teruah, a day of celebration. May we imagine that we participated in Rosh Hashanah celebration 2,500 years ago, when our ancestors returned to their homeland of Babylonia and heard the Torah read for the first time in generations.
May we acknowledge you today as ruler of the world, and may we resolve to do what we can to realize the vision that flows from your coronation, a place where all work together wholeheartedly to transform the world we have into the world you intended, a day when the world will be mended, for all will be involved in mending the world, tikkun olam. We turn out a cantor lighting and we invite our president up to be able to light the Yom Tov candles, Shel Shabbat v'Shel Yom Tov. I'll help you too.
Good, because I don't remember.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Never alone.
No Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehavik shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov lehavik Shel Shabbat v'Shel Yom Tov. And now to Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'echianu v'kimanu v'higianu l'hazman hazeh, who has enabled us to reach this wonderful occasion of this high holidays in this wonderful year in this gorgeous congregation. We turn now to page 7. Page 7. Where I will chant a psalm, a song on Sabbath day. It is good to give thanks to Adonai, to sing to your name, to exalt your essence. Yis Moshir Le'om HaShabbat, Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai. Osamele Shimcha Elyon, Lagi B'Boker Chazdecha, Ve'emunatcha Ba'velot. We continue reading on English on page 7 or Hebrew on page 7 until the middle, and we'll continue at the top of page 8 with Tzadi Katamar. If you know this piece, please join in with me. Oops. Now, usually we wouldn't add that song, but because of the Shabbat, we're going to have to add a great many insertions to be able to understand this cycle that happens to us every 7 to 11 years when we join with Rosh Hashanah on Shabbat, Friday evening itself. Let's turn to page 9, where we'll enjoy this service and welcome it with the Baruch Hu. I ask you all to rise, please. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Abed. You may be seated. We bless you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe. You give the word, and evening arrives. You open the gates of heaven at the right times. You have established the cycles wisely. days and nights, seasons and constellations, all progressing through the heavens in accordance with your will. You rule over us in creation forever and ever. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. El Chai Bekayom Tavi Yimloch Alinu Le'olam Moed Baruch Ato Adonai Amari Barabim. Page 10, as we conclude, and singing Abad Olam, you love your people Israel with eternal love, giving us Torah and mitzvot, teaching us that there is a way to live. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha havta, Torah u'mitzvot, chokim u'mishpatim, otanu limadta. Al King Adonai Eloheinu, B'shachveinu u'bekumeinu, Nasiach bechukecho, V'nitzmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed, Ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, u'bahem negeh, yomam v'layla. Ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, u'bahem negeh, yomam v'layla. Be'avotecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch ato Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Page 11, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha ayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam v'shitacha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha u'b'derech u'shachbecha u'b'kumecha u'shachan le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotachot b'yidnecha u'chtatam המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. There's a lovely melody to You Shall Love by Debbie Friedman. If you know the words, please let us all sing it together again.
Actually, page 12 in your little plastic folder. Page 12, second one down.
And you shall love the Lord all of your heart and all of your soul and all of your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be your heart. Shall be your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak them when you sing in your house, and walk by the way, and when you lie down. And shall aside upon your head shall be between thine eyes, and shall ride upon the doorposts of your house, and upon your seats, and upon your seats, and you shall remember all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. We continue reading from the next page until the bottom. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeti Etchem Me'Eretz Mitzrayim Li'om Lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 14. U'machuto b'ratzon. When your children saw this display of your power, they sang praises to your redeeming day, and they accepted you as their one and only ruler. Moses and Miriam and the children of Israel burst into songs of praise and joy to you and shouted out all together, Mi chamocha b'lim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Who is like unto you, Adonai, among all those called gods? Who is like unto you, majestic in holiness, doing awesome, doing amazing deeds? Umakuto beratzon kiblu alehem Moshe Miriam Umnei Yisrael lekanu shira besimcha raba v'emru kulam mi chamocha b'lim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh Nora teilot osefele malchutecha rabnecha bokei hayom lifnei Moshe zelianu beyamru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai Yaakov, ugalo merchazak mimenu, Baruch ato Adonai, Gal Yisrael. Let's look at the opposite page on 15 with the words, May you Adonai, and read together the Hashkivenu prayer as a congregation. May you Adonai help us sleep in peace. And may you afterwards restore us to life. May you spread over us your sukkah of peace, and may your guidance enable us to grow. May you save us because that is your essence. May you protect us and banish from us our enemies, plague, sword, hunger, and pain. May you remove all evil spirits from our path.
May you protect us under the shadow of your wings.
For you, Adonai, you watch over us and protect us. For you are a ruler who provides grace and mercy. May you guard our comings and our goings.
Life and peace, now and forever.
O pros aleinu sukat shilomecha, Baruch ato Adonai, apore sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'yahal Yerushalayim. We turn now in our prayer book to page 17. We get to add a prayer. It's Shabbos tonight, so we're going to say V'shamru together. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Do your hands work? Et ha-Shabbat le'Torah olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat le'Torah olam. Beni obey b'nei Yisrael, otiv le'olam, otiv le'olam, otiv le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לכל תמרית עולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לכל תמרית עולם. ויום השביעי שבת בנפש, שבת בנפש, שבת בנפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לכל תמרית עולם. תקעו בחודש שופר, בכסף ליום הגנו, כי החוק לישראל הוא משפט לאלוהי יעקב. Sound the shofar at the new moon. Proclaim the festival when the moon is concealed. For this is the law of Israel, a statute of the God of Jacob. We all rise for page 18 for the Chatzi Kaddish. Yikad al Yikadash Shemi Rabbah B'yamad Divrach Yerutei B'amlich Malchutei B'chayekon U'b'yamechon U'b'chaylecho B'Yisrael B'Hagala U'b'Zman Karidimeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Ulal Me'amaya Yitbarach Yitbarach Vishtabach V'par B'tromam B'natzei V'tadal V'tadei V'tadal Shemei Dekudesha V'yichud Le'elah, min kol bechata v'sherata, tush bechata v'nechemata, dami arahon me'alema v'meru. Amen. We are at page 19, the silent devotion, the Amida, for the Shabbos and Erev Rosh Hashanah. The Amida can be found from pages 19 all the way to page 28. Or if you want, you may offer a prayer of your own personal choice.
I don't know.
be seated when you're finished.
Oh, Elohim, may God's Spirit be with you. Oh, Elohim, keep you safe from harm. With the love of God, He will shelter from every storm. May God bless you and bring you to the light and safe from harm. May the love of friends be your shelter from every storm. Bring you to the light and loving arms. Together we will be a shelter from every storm. Together we will be a shelter from every storm. They are some
Thank you, Frank. That was absolutely beautiful. You may put your prayer books aside. Hey, guys! We have some new people in. Give me a second. Hold on. I want to welcome you. I got to get some high fives back here. Hello. Nice to see you. Hey. Hey. Who are you? What's your name? What's your name? Yeah. That's all right. Welcome to services tonight. You're just in time for another rabbinical sermon, right? What I like to do is offer you something a little different because maybe you haven't noticed, but I'm a little different. No. Yep. I hate to tell you, I was dropped on the head as a small child and I never recovered. My mother and father loved me, and I started singing at a very, very young age. And they said, "We know what you should do." And I said, "No, I don't want to do that." Sooner or later, they were right. I did want to do it. And that's when I went to the seminary after studying Conservatory Cincinnati and opera. But I wanted to share something to you. I've been writing for the last few years, and I have two things that I'd like to share with you tonight that I think would be most interesting. You see, I'm going to read you the first. The other year, turned a very special age. I just turned 65. Oh my God! What is this with 65? So let us begin with this subject of numbers. What is the function of numbers in our life? To the individual, there are good numbers and troubling ones. We go through our daily lives from youth to old age, counting the numbers. Driving, voting, and drinking each involve a certain set of numbers. As we age, our numbers give us lots of concern. What are we doing with our life? What are we doing with our numbers? As time marches onward, the number 65 is of special significance. Its surface value seems to usher in the last stage of our existence. Social Security, Medicare, senior citizen are now all words which we acquaint ourselves with. Are you as young as you feel? Or does a set of numbers determine your mindset? That can be answered by saying, well, yes and no. So the question presents itself, why is 65 such a significant number? Life presents challenges to us from adolescence to old age. A wise mystic once said that life is like a heartbeat. On a machine, you can see its movement go up and down, which are the opposites of yin or yang, or positive or negative. When we were young, we want to become older. When we were older, we wish we were younger. Why do we do this? Why can't we be happy with the numbers that are in our present lives? In many ways, we define ourselves by the numbers that we are. Numerology puts a great emphasis on numbers and their sequences. 65 is just a solitary number. It doesn't define you. Because of your programming and social mores, it often becomes a detriment and not an asset. True, you've come this far, yet the machine, which is your body, seems not to have the pliability and youth that it once had. So how do we grapple with all of this? First of all, numbers and points is always an adventure. Finally, it must be said that it's about our choices, good or bad, which dictate our lives and not numbers or how we feel about these numbers. Do we use these opportunities to learn, or do our choices and numbers determine the result? We all dream, and we all wish and reach for everything we can get out of this life. There are no tryouts or practices. We only get one chance to make this right. If this is true, why are there so many people filled with sadness, filled with guilt and remorse? If that is so, what would you call living a life to its fullest? Our dreams and goals fuel us along our journeys. Somehow through along the way, we get lazy. We get distracted. We give up on what we wanted to do or to become. So how do we do this little thing called living life to its fullest? Personally, I have an Eastern philosophy that I have learned and I work on every single day. I practice mind, body, and spirit. With these, I've learned about balance. I've also learned gratefulness. Studies have shown that daily gratefulness strengthens all of the blood pressure and parts of the body and also strengthens the heart. This one mental perspective has so many benefits, both physically and mentally. So, as a rabbi, I'd like to share a little story with you. A college professor proposed an experiment to his students. I'm sure you've heard this. He took a jar and put some rocks in it. Have you heard this? Oh gosh, oh my. Put some rocks in it. And he put pebbles and forced themselves among the rocks. He asked the students, is the jar full? The students all said, yes, the jar's full. The professor then put sand in the jar. The sand filled in the spaces between the rocks and the pebbles. He then asked, is the jar filled now? The student says, oh, yes. Finally, the professor reached for a glass of water, filled the jar to the brim. Is the jar now filled? The students all looked at each other with anticipation and emphatically said, yes, it finally is. The professor looked at the students and said, you thought the jar was filled with the rocks. Then you thought the jar was filled with the pebbles. Then you thought the jar was filled with the sand. And finally, the water. Now I want you to recognize that this jar represents our life. Our life. Here tonight. The rocks are the most important things. Your family, your children, your health, your friends, your favorite passions. And if everything else was lost, if only they remained, your life would still be full with all of these. The pebbles are the other things that matter, like your job, your house, your car, and so on. The sand is everything else, the small stuff. If you put the sand into the jar first, there's no room for the pebbles or the rocks. The same goes for life. If you spend all of your time and energy on the small stuff, you will never have room for the things that are most important to you. That's the lesson tonight. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Play with your children. Spend time with your parents. Take your spouse out to dinner. Promise, honey, as soon as high holidays, I'll take you out to dinner. There will always be time to clean the house. There will be always time to fix the vacuum cleaner. Take care of the rocks first. The things that really matter. Set your priorities. Life is not a dress rehearsal, folks. And the rest is just sand. One of the students raised their hand and inquired what the coffee represented. The professor smiled. I'm glad you asked. It just goes to show you that no matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a cup of coffee with a friend. So, a full life is one that has hopes and dreams. It is important to live in the present, not the past or the future, but the precious present. A full life is one with balance. Work, play, recreation, relationships, and family are constantly all at odds with one another. It is important to understand these and define which are your rocks, which are your pebbles, which are your sand, and which is your coffee. Finding and living with a good balance of these is the epitome of a good and full life. The Shema Tova.
Amen.
Something to think about. We'd like to sing Shalom Rav, and you can follow us along and say Shalom on page 28. You can follow Shalom Rav on page 28. I bet you were the only synagogue on Erev Rosh Hashanah that has a keyboard and a guitar. In Eau Claire. Here we go. Shalom Rav, Shalom One more time. Shalom. One more. Or say shalom. Say shalom Bimronav. Say shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Israel. Ibnu, Amen. Say shalom. Say shalom. Shalom Aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. 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 And we like to call the president up for a few words. Thank you, Dan.
Welcome to everybody. Shana Tova. It's nice to see our members and some friends and some new people. It's very exciting. So I was going to thank Cantor Kowitz, but now I feel like I have to say
Rabbi. Whatever,
Rabbi
go ahead.
Kowitz. Yasher Koa.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So Rabbi Kowitz will be with us through Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And we appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Love the music. I love the music. Just a few announcements before I get into the speech. We have services at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Let's say it together.
9 a.m.
Thank you. Not 9:30, not 9:07, 9 a.m. Let's try to be here on time. We're also going to have a very abbreviated service on Sunday because there were some members that really wanted a second day. And so we're just doing a lay led and it will be what it will be. So hopefully you can come and we can have a minion. Copies of the dues form, I did promise they would be here. They are at home, so they will be here tomorrow. And then Lee asked me to mention, you may have seen a stack of paper bags. Oh, there, she's got some of them for you. We will be doing a Yom Kippur food drive. So if you will take one of those home with you this weekend and bring it back full next weekend, that would be wonderful. Now, on to the speech. I want to thank first my board of directors. Not all are here, but I'll mention everybody. Matt Milner, who was kind enough to become the vice president of this congregation. Cheryl Gilberstadt, who has taken over the role of being secretary after Viva did it for 30 years or something crazy? Over 25 years. So thank goodness. Viva is staying on the board. Maury Pasternak, who's not here right now, but want to give a big thanks to him. Mike Stoyer, Amanda Mondlick, and Lee Crow. And not to sound like a broken record, but we still have a treasury position open as well as two at-large seats. Next thing is I want to thank the ritual committee for an incredible job. If you're not on the committee, you have no idea what went into all the planning with Rabbi Kowitz. And I know it took a lot of time. So Frankie Weinberger, Matt Milner, Lee, I know you're there watching us tonight. Aviad, thank you. and Regev, who's not here, but he's another member. And they've all worked really, really hard with the rabbi to get everything ready for this high holiday season. So thank you so much. Not only do we have a wonderful ritual committee, we also have a rabbi search committee. As you know, we are currently without a rabbi. We have a rabbi right now for high holidays. But you all know that Rabbi Shribman left us and went to Michigan. We hope she's doing a wonderful job there. So we also have a rabbi search committee who's done a lot of work and who brought Rabbi Kowitz here for the high holidays. And that is Matt Milner, Eric and Frankie Weinberger, Shelley Fredson, who's not here tonight, Lee, thanks again, Lee, and Cheryl Gilberstadt. So I just want to thank you all for your work on hiring the rabbi for high holidays and everything else that you're doing to make sure that we have the right person in place when the time is ready. Another thanks goes out to Frankie and Lee for coordinating the services in July and August. We did not have a rabbi here, and although I was not able to attend, I know they were wonderful, and we as a congregation appreciate that we were able to continue meeting together and having having time together. So another thing I'd like to thank is also Frankie and Lee for all their wonderful musical ability. Frankie, I don't know what we would do without you. It has been such an amazing thing to have you, and now to have Lee and Rabbi Kowitz. It's amazing. I love it. Who would think? A singing rabbi. So it's wonderful. And then there's, I don't know if you noticed, you probably did notice that it's not so tragic looking out front. It was pretty bad there for a while. But we had some horrible evergreens taken down by one of the members of the temple. He's not here tonight, but we appreciated it. And then we have a group of people that put together this beautiful garden, and we're not done. It'll keep growing. It's beautiful. I mean, it's really beautiful. So I want to thank everybody who was involved in that. It's called Tikkun Olam, repairing of the world, and sending out good deeds to make the world a better place. First of many, we hope. And if you have any project that you would like considered for our next Tikkun Olam, please let us know. No idea is a bad idea unless it's an idea that doesn't get spoken. So if you have something you would like us to do, consider, let us know. So one thing I know for sure is that no matter what, there is always more work to be done. We are very lucky in this community for all the time and skill of the many members of our board of directors, our ritual committee, our rabbi search committee, some of which are the same in all three. But without people like us, those of us who continue to give, and many of you are out there tonight, without people like us, communities cannot thrive. But with these great people now, and all of those who have come before us, many that are gone, but who we think very fondly of, yes, Viva, right? Yes. We will surely continue now and into the future. With that, as I have said for several years, I bid you Lashana Tova, Tikva Tevu. May you be inscribed for a good year.
Thank you, Daniel.
We'll continue with our service. Do we have a Kiddush cup here?
No. We'll do it downstairs.
We'll do it downstairs? You sure you go? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's turn to Kaddish Shalem on page 75. Page 75, Kaddish Shalem, the full Reader's Kaddish. יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה, ואמר ברכילותי, ואמליך מלכותי, וחי כל ביום אחד עוד חי לך בישראל, ועגלה בזמן קריב ימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, Le'olam olam ve'amaya Yiparach Yiparach v'shemach v'par v'toromam v'natzeh v'tadar v'talek v'lav shemei l'kodesha v'rechu Le'elam mikol bechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram v'yama v'meru Amen Titgabal sloton u'voton decho Yisrael Kadom avahom v'shmai v'meru Amen Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, B'chaim Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael V'Meru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Bromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael, V'Yakol Yoshvei Tevel, V'Yimeru, Amen. We turn to page 77 and rise for Aleinu L'Shabeach. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol. Ate Kidula Leosef Erechi Shelo Asanu Kegoye Haratzot Elo Samanu Kenishbechot Adama Shelo Samachel Kedukahem Begor Alinu Kechol Chamonam Vanachnu Kodim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. As it is written in your Torah, you shall know today and get it straight in your mind that Adonai is God, that beyond the heavens and our world below, there is no other God. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו Shemo Echad. Do you have your side, Liz? Will we have it tomorrow? Tomorrow. In solemn testimony and to that unbroken faith, which links the generations one to another, we have the Mourner's Kaddish on page 80. Those observing the Yurtzeit will join with me as we say the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgada shemei Rabbah. Ve'amad divrach chedutei ve'amlech malchutei v'chayechol v'yomechol v'chayedecho beit Yisrael ba'agala v'bizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lemei amaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha v'rechu le'elam min kol v'yachata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'yamav v'imru Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'Bromav Hu Yaseh Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol Yoshvei Tevel v'imru Amen. I love kids. We got kids crawling all around here, man, begging on the side and everything like that. I'm even more happy. Now, I don't understand why a synagogue, which is really Beit Knesset, a home, children are in the home. This is the home. This is where children are. So if you know anybody that has children, and oh my God, it's the high holidays, please bring them. I will keep them entertained. I guarantee you. I'll give them my pick of my guitar. I wanted to accomplish something when I came here. Temple of Erev was an awfully big synagogue. I have two of my friends, Sherv and Shelley here from the Twin Cities. I just can't believe they actually showed up. I'll pay for their gas. But I gotta tell you, but I gotta tell you the truth. To me, I was looking forward to this with such anticipation. I'm used to seeing 1,000 people. It's like Mick Jagger singing Cold Nidre. But this is where it is, to be able to say hello to be able to come over and say hi. You know what I mean? I couldn't do that for over 25 years. And that's why I chose this particular job. I've never ever played guitar on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Wow, this was cool. You know, doing things, experimenting with things. I came here to try to give you energy. I came here to try to give you a different point of view. I came here to try to give you a starting place and jump off. Not to come here complacent, not to come here just because it's Erev Rosh Hashanah, and not to come here just because you're Jewish. But what does it all mean? What does this high holidays all mean? What do you mean? This is a time to start asking questions. And they're good questions. Because we're alive. And the only reason we're alive is because of God. And we all should know. We've seen people come, we've seen people go. We've all been through our own individual, very, very difficult times. But we're all here tonight. And we not only did a wonderful prayer, but we had fun. And so, normally on my cue sheet, we'd end with Yigdal on tonight, which the old melody or the traditional Yigdal Elohim Chai Yishtabach, and then you have the high holiday melody. Yigdal Elohim Chai Yishtabach. Almost sounds like a waltz that you're doing, okay? We're not going to end that way tonight. Nope. We're going to do something a little bit different. And so, what are we together? We're brothers and sisters who are all here praying tonight and hoping that tomorrow will come and be a day that we can look up and say, thank you, God, for giving me another day. Thank you for keeping me alive. Todah Rabbah. So let's sing. Ready? Mr. Entertainer. Thank you for coming. What did the president say? Service is starting 9 o'clock. Let's go downstairs for a little kiddush, and then we'll be on our way.
We probably actually need to put them together because we've all been up here. So we'll take a few minutes to get it all together.